the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Maybe that's why you want to pay me half?
You won't believe the drama that's been unfolding behind the scenes at Disney and Marvel Studios. There's a full-on revolt happening, and it's all thanks to Jeremy Renner, the guy who brought us the beloved Hawkeye. So, it all started when Disney came to Jeremy Renner with a proposal for the second season of his Disney Plus show, Hawkeye. But guess what? They offered him half of what he made in the first season. Yep, you heard that right. Half. Can you imagine being one of the original Avengers, someone who has spent over a decade making Marvel movies, only to be handed a paycheck that's slashed in half? Jeremy was not having it. He made it clear that this offer wasn't just bad, it was insulting. In a recent interview, Jeremy said he couldn't believe it. Disney was asking him to do twice the work for half the pay. Think about it. That's 8 months of his time for a paycheck smaller than he got before. And after everything he's been through, especially his near-death accident, this was the last thing he expected from Disney. His response? I'm sorry. Why? You think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? Ouch.
They asked me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money. And I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. And so 8 months of my time, essentially. And you do it for half the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over?
Now, here's where things get even more intense. If you don't know, Jeremy Renner had a life-threatening accident back in January 2023. He was run over by a snowplow in his own driveway, and it nearly killed him. He broke over 35 bones and had to go through grueling surgeries and rehab to recover. It was a traumatic time for him and his family. And yet, Disney comes knocking with an offer that seems to completely ignore what he's been through. It felt like they were devaluing him, and that hit Jeremy hard. Can you blame him for being upset? After facing death and going through such a tough recovery, being treated like he's worth half his previous salary? That's just cold. And we're not talking about Marvel Studios here. No, this came from the higher-ups at Disney, specifically the financial team. Jeremy made sure to point out that it wasn't Marvel's fault. No, this was all on Disney's penny-pinching accountants. But still, being treated this way by the company he helped build? That's tough.
Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season? And this is not Marvel, mind you. This is like this Disney, not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I told him to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. And we didn't see eye to eye on that.
So what did Jeremy do? He didn't take it lying down. Instead of just accepting this disrespectful offer, he fired back. He rejected Disney's offer with a "go fly a kite" response, letting them know he wasn't going to back down. And here's the thing. He didn't even ask for more money. All he wanted was to be paid the same as he was for the first season of Hawkeye. Seems pretty fair, right? But Disney couldn't even meet him there. That's when Jeremy decided to stand up for himself. And honestly, that's pretty powerful. A guy who's been through so much, physically and emotionally, just to be treated like this by Disney? Jeremy wasn't going to let it slide. He made it clear that he loved playing Hawkeye and still wanted to be a part of the Marvel universe. But he had to stand his ground. He had to defend himself.
And sadly, I'd still love the character, I still love to do it, but I had to defend myself. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you, right? It just paid me what I made the first season. So it was a little disheartening that didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm happy to let that go because my body's probably thanking me, time and time again that I'm not doing it right now.
Fans weren't the only ones furious about this. Jeremy's rejection of the lowball offer sparked outrage among Marvel fans and some of his fellow co-stars. On social media, fans took to Twitter to express their anger. One person even tweeted, "Pay that man his money," while another slammed Disney, saying, "Hey, at Marvel Studios, that's messed up." But it doesn't end there. This whole situation isn't just about Jeremy Renner. It's part of a much bigger issue going on in Hollywood right now. There's a rising tide of frustration among actors, especially those working on massive franchises like the MCU. It seems like Disney is tightening its purse strings, and a lot of stars are taking notice. From lowball salary offers to disrespecting longtime contributors like Jeremy Renner, this is starting to look like a full-scale rebellion against Disney CEO Bob Iger. So why is this happening? Well, Disney has been making some major changes to its financial strategy, and it looks like talent compensation is taking a hit. Disney, under Bob Iger's leadership, has been focused on cutting costs, especially for Disney Plus productions. The problem? This is starting to alienate the very actors who helped build the Marvel brand into what it is today. It's no surprise that Jeremy Renner wasn't the only one frustrated by these financial moves.
Explained, the reason I didn't do them had nothing to do with any artistic considerations whatsoever. I didn't like the deals they made at all. These films are quite grueling to make. If you're going to hang from a crane in front of a green screen for 6 months, pay me. If you don't want to pay me, it's cool, but then I don't want to do it, because I'd rather be on stage or directing a play or doing something else.
In fact, some other actors, like John Malkovich, have spoken out about how lowball offers from Marvel made them walk away from potential roles. Even Hugo Weaving, who played Red Skull, has been reported as turning down Marvel roles over pay disputes. And guess what? These actors are not alone. A-list talent is starting to see that their contributions aren't being properly rewarded, and they're not afraid to speak up about it.
Hugo Weaving didn't return was because he said Marvel's impossible to work with and didn't honor their original deal. When he first signed on for Marvel, he actually agreed to a 3-picture deal where he was going to do 3 different movies with the company, and each time he portrayed the character of Red Skull, he'd get a raise. They did tell him they were going to give him a part originally in the first Avengers movie, but they opted not to give him that screen time because they wanted to focus everything on Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
But here's where things get really juicy. The situation with Jeremy Renner might just be the spark that sets off a full-blown Marvel civil war. Other MCU stars are starting to question Disney's business practices and are openly voicing their frustrations with Bob Iger's leadership.
Touch. Having worked on a Disney show, I know where people fall through the cracks and where people are taken advantage of, and it's outrageous the amount of wealth that is not shared with the people who actually make the show. That's crew, cast, writers.
For example, Tatiana Maslany, who played She-Hulk, publicly criticized Bob Iger during the 2023 strikes. She said he was out of touch with the workers who actually create Disney's content. And then there's Sean Gunn, who plays Rocket in Guardians of the Galaxy. He pointed out the massive pay disparity between Iger and the lowest paid Disney workers. It's clear that this is becoming a trend.
I think that when Bob Iger talks about what a shame it is, he needs to remember that in 1980, CEOs like him made 30 times what their lowest worker was making. Now Bob Iger makes 400 times what his lowest worker is.
Jeremy Renner's dispute with Disney isn't just a one-off incident. It's part of a much bigger picture of rising tensions between Hollywood stars and corporate execs. If you're an actor in the MCU right now, you've got to be thinking, if Disney can do this to Jeremy Renner, what's stopping them from doing it to me? And that's what's got a lot of people talking about a possible uprising led by Avengers stars themselves. So what does all this mean for Jeremy Renner and his future with Marvel? Well, despite the pay dispute, he hasn't completely shut the door on the MCU. He's made it clear that he still loves playing Hawkeye and would love to return to the role if the terms are right. But let's face it, if Disney doesn't change its approach, they could be looking at a future where Jeremy Renner walks away for good. And that would be a huge loss for Marvel, considering his long-standing role in the franchise. One thing is clear, Disney has a tough road ahead. The company is already facing criticism from its talent, and the way they handle this situation could have long-term consequences for the MCU. If they keep disrespecting their stars, they might find themselves losing more and more talent to other projects. And that could mean big problems for a franchise that relies so heavily on its cast of characters.